Hello, world. Hello, fellow ghosties. Good morning, good morning. It's going to be full of statistics, data, and interesting ideas today. So, let's just make sure everybody sees what I see and hears me. I think we're live. Let me also check. The number of viewers. 1 second. Okay. Okay, so we are live. Mr. Adike, good morning. Thank you. Okay. Good morning. Okay. So without further ado, let's not wait. Let's go. Some interesting stats have been collected. And I'm personally in the space for a long time. I joined, first time I heard about crypto was 2013. Back then, just like many of you, just like many of us, we thought Bitcoin was a complete scam. That's exactly what I thought. But then around 2016, 2017, we started the professional involvement with the space. And I love to collect statistics. I love to collect data. And oftentimes, the data really surprises me, like extremely surprises me. Anubhav, good morning. And the data surprised me this time as well. So first of all, not first of all, but like on one of the occasions, remember how every single node is priced at roughly $10 million per node? And what's happening is at this moment, the valuation is much higher because we've done that analysis back in back in October or something, right? Or maybe July. Actually, no, sorry, July. July Bitcoin price was what, 60, 70 grand? Now it's 100. So everything is pumped. So if you're going to redo the analysis, it's probably going to be not 10,000. It's probably going to be like so many more. Crypto Bureau, Crypto Update. Good morning, guys. So that statistic really like boggled me. Like, wow, $10 million per node. That's real. And I've been collecting this for for years now. And when I collected the first time, it was maybe $300,000, $500,000 per node. It was already crazy. This is yet another statistic that is equally crazy. So we think that, and they tell us there are 20, well, back in 2018, they said there were 10,000 projects. So by now, there's probably 100,000 projects, if not maybe a million projects. I don't know how many projects in crypto, even listed on CoinMarketCap. Problem is this, how many chains do we have? So I was under the impression we have, must be thousands of chains. Has to be. Like, how can it not be? Well, how many chains there are? There's only one condition is the market cap has to be greater than $100 million, right? And you would think that, you go through the list on CoinMarketCap. You're on page 5, you're on page 6. So it has to be at least 600 chains, right? 600 projects. Has to be 600 chains. Wrong. Absolutely wrong. I'll show you the list. Turns out there are like maybe 100 blockchains out there that have a market cap of, 50 million market cap, $100 million market cap. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. I thought a lot more. Of course, we're gonna, dive deeper and like go for the, market caps of $2 million, $5 million, $10 million. We'll see some of those too. And the question will be how many validators, how many nodes those chains have. But the stats is very clear. So first of all, at this moment it says 26 nodes, not 24. Actually, even 27, thanks to whales. I cannot necessarily single out anybody, but maybe next time we'll discuss the power of Tribe and Mr. IDK. Remember we discussed that 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, the power of Tribe, and it's working, right? thank you. Like, thanks to all of you guys. Thanks to all the whales, because we have a separate tribe coming out of the um, uh, coming out of the 1 second Sergio, right? So Sergio brought a lot of people, probably going to bring a lot more, work on the script. Insane, Sergio, you are a fucking beast. Plus Anubov and the battlefield and like all your boys and girls who joining, thank you. That's amazing. Like you guys, thank you so much. Perfect. We have one more person that needs to qualify, Sayan. He's almost there to be a whale and be good. Like you have a crew of 6, I think 6 people who are whales right now, Sergio, and all you. They will vote with you. You guys created your little mafia, which I'm saying with the most positive meaning of that word, meaning you together can bundle up. You can represent a significant, consensus, you know, um, arm, right, of the protocol, because you most likely will be acting together. And that's a force that we all need to prepare against, right? In case you guys want to take over the network, which is how it's supposed to be, well, there has to be another clan equally powerful as yours. And what's that clan? I think that's coming from the Shinra and also from the Baris. So you guys as well. I think you guys have been brought by somebody that I know, who's also like huge fan of whales. And thank you to all the entire trio. And if you guys get around knows, now you represent a separate clan that is also super freaking powerful. And now council members that represent a separate clan. I'm not going to mention who's there, but you'll see based on the whale rank. Now the council members are slowly starting to wake up. This one council in particular reached out to me yesterday. I think I'm not don't want to FOMO you guys, but I think we're talking about 25 to 50 notes from that council. That has been the deal when we discussed it about maybe a year and a half ago. I'm not sure what the deal is today, but it seems like that's the intention. So that's gonna be another just one dude is gonna run. Well, one dude with his group, right? He's gonna run 25 to 50 nodes. So that's another clan. Now, all the other councils who are not part of it, there's one council who's uniting others. I'm not going to dive into details there, but that's going to be a totally separate clan as well. The team will represent a clan as well. So we also, trust me, we're also working on bringing our, how to say, followers to make sure we're not going to get crushed. But here's the thing, I'm discussing this in a potentially aggressive fashion, it's a clan, it's a mafia. But guys, that's how the world works. That's how it's supposed to work. We all together, and that's the beautiful part about Web3. We all together, we're all fighting for the same goal of making Ghost great. Since we had Ghost Classic, make the Ghost great again. Maybe that should be one of our slogans now as well. So make the Ghost great again. But at the same time, we do have our self-interest, and self-interest is, we are all selfish, which is, positively selfish, and we should be, making as much as we can from the network. So we want to get as much governance as we can. We want to get as much, allocation as we can. We want to get as much impact as we can. Let alone the project is really serving the, the use case that we all want, which is fuck the centralized exchanges. We don't need them, right? Yeah, we're not going to do the onboarding, on-ramp, off-ramp from cash, from fiat currency to the crypto. That's not our thing. But once you have crypto, especially if it's EVM, you're good. You should be good to go. You don't need to go to centralized exchanges. You can trade them within one exchange on a DEX, and then if you want, you can move to another exchange via Ghost, and then do the same thing over there. So you don't really need centralized exchange unless you need to off-ramp at some point of time. And that way you gain massive level of privacy, because it's a matter of time, in my opinion, when governments will start will become very, very interested in us, in all of us. I'm saying not Ghost, in all of us, in all people involved in blockchain, which is 400 million people. So that's just something to consider. So 100 blockchains we have. If we are to dive deep into the stats, what do we have and what is our competition, you guys will be impressed. The minimum is 11 nodes, as you can see. That's Chiliz net. I'll show you in more detail. That's Chiliz network. The highest maximum, that's Bitcoin. It's very interesting to notice that Bitcoin maybe a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, we had about 10 actually 8,000 nodes on Bitcoin, and now it grew significantly. Maybe they include in light nodes, I'm not sure. But maybe that's why the number became so big. But it's double now, so it's at 20,000. So that's Bitcoin right there at the max, and Chill is at the minimum. Again, the condition, the if statement is the chains that have $100 million of market capitalization or more. Now, what's interesting is the median. So what's the median? Median is 50% of blockchains here, 50% of blockchains here. We're talking about 100 blockchains. We're not even talking about 100 blockchains, by the way. We're talking about 90 blockchains, right? But let's round this up to 100 just to make it easy. So 50 blockchains have market cap from have nodes from 11 nodes to 105 nodes. The other 50%, the top 50%, have anywhere from 105 as far as nodes up to almost 20,000 with Bitcoin. Now, these are the quartiles, right? So that's called Q1, quartile 1. This is called Q3, quartile 3. So that just splits the median even further. So 25, 25, 25, 25. So we have 4 quadrants, right? So 25% each. And currently we are in the lowest quadrant here, right? So we have 26 nodes, I think 27. That's between 11 to 58 nodes. So we're right there, sweet spot. But what's interesting is not that. The interesting part is how much does this correlate to the market capitalization? Again, guys, we're not talking about the Ghost DAO. We're not talking about Ghost NFT, Ghost Airdrop. That's not even part of it. We're only talking about the ecosystem comprised of just one blockchain, which is Ghost. Right? Because most of these blockchains have nothing else but the chain. We have other products on top of the chain, which is supposedly impacting the market cap in a more positive direction. Of course, that's all disclaimer. That's all theoretical. We don't have, GNV is a utility token, not a security. Yes, absolutely. But what do the comparables say? Well, that's what they say here. So 26 nodes market cap. We don't know what the market cap of Ghost is, but if you reach the median of 105 as far as nodes, right? 105 nodes, we'll see the market cap at 820 million market cap. Makes sense, right? So the median chain has $820 million in market cap. Round this up to whatever. I mean, I would round this up to $1 billion. Now, remember that computation we have where one node is roughly equivalent to 10 million? Well, the math here kind of works out, right? 10 or 100 nodes times 10 million, that's roughly $1 billion or 1.1 billion. Yeah, sure, discrepancy, 1.1 billion versus 800 million. That's a 25% discrepancy. I get it. But guys, we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars, right? Imagine divide this by, let's assume the supply of Ghost is, 15 million, right? So divide this by 15 million. The coin is going to be $60 each. So each GMV you have may be that, right? Again, GMV is a utility token, not a security token. But that's the math. The lesson is earn as many GMVs as you can. That's the lesson. The more, the better. Earn as much as you can. Now, and also bring people while doing that, obviously. Now, the average. So that's very different, right? So median and average. So median is the one right in the middle, right? It's right in the middle right there. The average is higher. The average number of nodes is actually higher. And that also, that was another fact that surprised me. So I was kind of thinking, 100 nodes, maybe 150, maybe 200 nodes as the median. But the average is actually pretty good. I expected lower. But also, guys, just think about this. You have a network, right? 1,000 computers, whatever, 1,200 computers in the world maintain the client of this network. And the market capitalization of this project is $32 fucking billion. Now, go to your respective countries. Some of you guys are successful entrepreneurs. Some of you guys are startups, right? Like doing your startups. Some successful, some just starting out. Think about, ask your friends, how many of you guys worked on a project of 32 billion market cap? I don't mean work for a project, but for example, McDonald's, right? You could work in McDonald's, right? McDonald's is a multi-billion-dollar company, and you work as a cashier, for example, right? Or whatever. Nothing against this. Or you work, in a warehouse at Amazon. Amazon is a $1 trillion company. Or you work in an Apple store, right? And Apple is a $1 trillion company. That's not what I'm saying. Because you have no fucking decision making they say you do, but for the most part, you really don't, right? They say, oh, if you're a true leader, even in the lowest positions, you can grow. And that was true and still is true to some extent. But guys, the level of authenticity, the level of decision making you have with Ghost is unprecedented. Like Sergio, I'm pretty sure, collected with his crew. Like you guys were, writing a fucking script. It's insane. Some guys writing their notes and suggesting great ideas. Like we're going to be discussing some of these maybe today, maybe next call, next community call. It's insane. The amount of decision, the amount of actual governance you have is unprecedented. You will never have that much governance in McDonald's unless you are the founder, right? Or like a massive investor, right? Like now you're on board of McDonald's. So like it's kind of funny, right? The valuations in crypto are crazy, absolutely insane. 1,200 nodes, and you get an average market capitalization of 32, almost $33 billion with a B. That's insane. Can we get there with Ghost? That's I wouldn't say that's a Northern Star. The Northern Star for us, I believe, should be 20,000 nodes, actual people running stuff, actual understanding how to run it, actually, messing with the network, actually proposing Ghost improvement proposals, GIP or whatever you're gonna call it, right? But the Northern Star should be 20,000, probably 50,000. But a great benchmark for us at this point of time, potentially 105. And then once we reach that, maybe the next one is going to be 1100. Crypto update is asking Ghost Network testnet RPC when we can see. Um, well, yeah, that's a great question. So the timeline at this point of time is TBD, to be determined. We do not know. It's probably going to be by the testnet number 4, testnet number 5. We will also have our wallet, right? Because it's a substrate based chain. Ghost is substrate based. So we will have essentially a wallet that is built into the browser. But we're considering to also do MetaMask. So we'll see. From this perspective, we'll see exactly when. Most likely testnet version 3, most likely testnet version 4. Yeah. So now the onboarding at this point of time, how should we go about this? And you guys should share your views, and we need to have calls with some of you guys, ideally this week, if you are not busy. Sergeant definitely would love to have a call with you. Boris, I would definitely love to have a call with you guys. It would be amazing to discuss your ideas and essentially what needs to happen. So how should we proceed with people that we invite? Should we try to make it insanely easy for them? Should we try to do everything for them? Or should we focus on bringing more technical audience at this moment? That's a question. I don't have an answer. I'll just vocalize what I'm hearing. So some people, including people on the team, some people, not all, are thinking that, well, it's absolutely logical just to focus on the technical crew, because the technical crew will create the core. That technical core will give us, like 300 Spartans, right? Like that's going to be like a massive core that is always with us, always with the chain. Despite any volatility in nodes, that core will likely stay, and it's going to be, this super reliable network of these core individuals who are super technical, just love the concept. Obviously, participate in governance and all that fun stuff, but they are the core people that are technical. Now, another point of view that I'm partially sharing as well, I'm partially sharing that one. I'm also partially sharing the other one, where, well, we should also onboard people who are less technical, in which case maybe help with pre-installations, maybe help with some easier scripts. Here's a problem. Problem in relationships and problems in life, problems with money. Easy come, easy go. You earn $1 million easy, you lose $1 million easy. That's how it goes, right? That's why we see so much drama with these meme coins, right? Like meme coin on a piece of paper, you can earn $1 million, then you decide to take a lunch, then you had your lunch, and then an hour later, now you are whatever, back to $10,000. I'm just saying, right? Like it's massive volatility. So easy come, easy go, and tough come, tough go, right? So if it's difficult to gain, it's also difficult to lose, and that's true for many areas in life. That's definitely true for money, definitely true for relationships, and I think it's going to be the same truth for nodes. So if we are here to try to onboard, I love what Sergio said. So sorry for singling out. Sergio said some cool fucking things. I really just love it. Like it's just insane. It's crazy. It's cool. Crazy in a good way. He's like, well, let me just bring 500 people. Here's the thing. If you bring 500 easy people, who are easily joining super fast, what's going to happen is those same people will then easily leave, right? Like the second network experiences an issue. For example, with Bitcoin, there have been so many issues. Um, the price was going up to 100. Well, it was going up to $10 and dropping down to 50 cents. Going up to $100, dropping to $10. Going up to whatever $1,000, dropping down to whatever $200. Right. The biggest one I think that we all have experienced like lately, Bitcoin is growing up to $70,000 back to 16. Right. Remember that? January 2023, I think. Now it's back to 100. As what's going to happen? It may go to 130, it must go to 150. But it's going to freaking drop. Why? Because it fucking drops always, no matter what. Oh, no, this time it's different. The governments are buying this. Yeah, the governments are buying it. And then this is going to be a new, whatever, new ruler in the European Union, or new ruler in the US, or new ruler in Canada, or Australia, or Japan, whatever. And now crypto is outlawed. Oh, now they're selling it. Oh, now there's like a war situation, God forbid. Or now there's like some COVID, whatever, something like that. Oh, right? So all these like things will impact it down. So, but true people stayed with Bitcoin. The true community stayed no matter what for years. And that's exactly what we need. And B is writing quality over quantity. That's exactly what we need to at least build a good foundation. That's exactly right. But at the same time, there are some. So somebody, if you guys remember Alex Mashinsky, he was the CEO of Celsius before Celsius got collapsed. Whatever happened to the project, definitely some situation, definitely some issues. But what he did really well, I believe, he had a really great podcast. And as he disappeared, the podcast in crypto right now, fucking boring. And if you go to Web3 conference, crypto conferences, they are fucking boring. His stuff, I think, was the last really interesting, really exciting podcast in crypto. It was just like this stepping stone. It just happened that the kind of Celsius collapsed around the time, and he was like creating some cool lingo, and he was calling them crypto tourists, right? So if you are a crypto tourist, you only with the crypto, when it's pumping. When it's down, you're like, I'm gonna move to artificial intelligence. I'll talk to you guys about artificial intelligence, how much is a fucking FUD. Me personally, I experienced it the last 2 days. I'll show you how. I'll show you today. But like, they'll move to AI, and then after this, they're gonna move to 3D printing or whatever, or there's gonna be virtual reality, VR, or then artificial reality, AR, whatever the new thing, or biotech. Biotech was super hot at some point, or meme stocks, right? Like GameStop, like they're gonna rotate. So we need the good foundation of crypto natives, right? So crypto native and crypto tourist. So we need crypto natives. At the same time, we can get lots of crypto tourists. But here's the thing, they will not stick, but some of them will. So we're talking about conversion. So while we're not going to make sure that all of them stick around, some of them will. And those that will turn into crypto natives because they share the vision. And I personally observed that many times. In fact, I'm pretty sure some council members had that kind of same situation. I'm seeing this kind of that conversion. Like you always had the mindset, you just didn't know that this technology was kind of supporting that mindset. We're just realizing that mindset. Sir, from Anubov, will there be any KYC of Ghost Node in the future? Do you want me a long answer or a short answer? Please tell me, long answer or short answer for KYC of the node. And B saying it's all about decentralization, Web3, so no KYC, I hope. So Anubov, please respond to me. Do you want a long answer to the question or a short answer to the question about KYC node? So let me move on. But please write in the chat. So that's kind of a situation. And those of you who are helping onboard new users right now, you need to tell us, share with us in the whales. I would love to have calls with you guys this week or next week. We would love to, we need to learn what resonates, because we really have this amazing project with amazing vision with zero freaking pre-mine on the Ghost chain. That's insane. How many chains can do that, right? Bitcoin Monero, sure. How Telos said that they do this. Like somebody mentioned Telos, sure. Who else? There are definitely some chains, but how many chains do that? So we have a great concept, great tech, great community, growing community. So it would be amazing. So short answer on above. Let me repeat the question. Will there be any KYC of Ghost Node in the future? The short answer is fuck no. Of course not. The only reason we're doing this now is we need to make sure that there's enough. It's just super manual. It's just testnet. It's super freaking manual. We just want to make sure that we can maintain it properly. That's really it. Like, and trust me, we do not like ourselves this whole process of everybody having to qualify for the whales, and then you have to fill out the stupid form, and then you have to be approved to the Genesis block. It's messed up. Like, it's really, like, it's not good. And we all share that. Like, the entire team, everybody shares this vision that it sucks, but it's a good process for the testnet. Mainnet, no fucking way. We're not doing this. No, absolutely not. What Scientio wrote in the for the proposal 5, and thank you guys for voting. What he wrote in the proposal 5, the comment that we should not be having any manual process of onboarding full nodes into validators. That's like not even Web3. He's 100,000% correct. It sucks. The fact that we have to do this now kind of sucks. We're doing this because it's a testnet. We just need to make sure everybody gets onboarded. Everybody knows how to run stuff. We're running guides. Writing guides. Some of you guys writing scripts, which is amazing. Distributing boxes. So this is just like this weird, like really weird timing for us to kind of do this whole form stuff and whatever. It's gonna disappear, like, for sure. Like, that's not what we stand for. That's not how it's gonna be. So on above, so then people will run multiple nodes because there's no heavy specs to run Ghost node. That's exactly right. There's no heavy specs. Like, the specs are extremely freaking light, very similar to the lightness of Monero. I think the only ones who are lighter than us is Bitcoin and Monero, but they have required specs and we have recommended specs. So our recommended specs are heavier than their minimum specs. Our minimum specs will probably be somewhat the same, right? So that you're correct. Ethereum is also within those ranks, and that's a great kind of definer of whether the network is decentralized. Is the lower the specs are, the better, right? So Monero, Bitcoin, and Ethereum, great networks. There are definitely some others, but those three in particular are very good. Let me show you quickly the list of chains that we have to fight with. I say fight with. So if you guys can see, right? So, and here's kind of the question while I'm sharing this is how to gamify this, right? Like, we probably need to gamify this, guys. So these are the top chains, top 90 chains. Market cap right there. This is market cap per node, but this is the number of nodes, and that's the name of the blockchain. So obviously Bitcoin's number one, and we have some good ones. We have Doge, we have Flux, surprisingly right there. Question is that are these full nodes? Are these validators? What are they? Tron, is there Chia? Chia supposedly has 50,000 nodes. Then the question is, who are these 50,000 nodes, and who are the validators? It seems like 6,000 validators. Ethereum also. Ethereum has 5,600 validators. They have lots of stakers, but stakers don't seal the blocks, or do they? But then if they do, then what's the point of validators? That's a huge question, because validators for Ethereum is like 250,000, like massive because of proof of stake. But how many actual validators do they have, right? Based on the Etherscan, that's 5,600. That's yet to figure out exactly the difference. We just didn't dive in. Ethereum Classic, surprisingly, right here too. Multiverse X, that was some random chains. Zcash, our friends. It's very similar to Monero. Dash, absolutely. Well, Cardano is whatever. Polkadot, that's the inspiration that we had from Algorand. And then the question is, how much money this blockchain has raised? Of course, Bitcoin and Doge, they didn't raise anything, just like massive communities. But Tron, they raised. Ethereum Classic, they raised. Ethereum, obviously, they raised. Zcash, they raised from VCs in Silicon Valley, I know that. Polkadot, the co-founder of Ethereum, Gavin Wood. Algorand, they raised massive. Avalanche, they raised insane. Solana, they raised insane. So we have these like massive blockchains with massive backend, which does not necessarily realize into anything. Just because they raised money doesn't mean shit. You have startups that raise money, so what? It doesn't mean anything. It means nothing. It's all about product market fit. It's all about adoption by the users, by you guys. Like, who cares about these freaking fucking, like, also when you look at the nodes, like, let me just drop down slowly but surely. So as we go down, so third chain 116 only, right? Would be surprising. BNB 110. Used to be 11, now it's 110. Question is like how that, like it's rotating. It's like some weird proof authority situation, whatever. Terra Classic, that's Lunk, LUNC, that's 110. We discussed with one of the council members specifically this project, so he's validated there as well, but it's 110 despite all this massive freaking publicity. Celo, I finally was able to locate the validators. It took me a long time. 110. VeChain, if you guys know, huge community, 100 blockchain, 100 nodes. Casper, such a great blockchain. Actually, very good. They initiated proof of stake, I think, based on their white paper, specifically on the proof of stake. Ethereum launched theirs. Casper was significantly behind. Casper developers was very much involved with Ethereum as well. So only 94 nodes, which is a shame. For this network of this caliber, it's a shame. Casper is a great network. But some council love Portisia, so 82 right there, 82 nodes. Here's the situation. Remember these like decentralized bridges, right? As they claim. Well, Axelar is a decentralized bridge. 75 nodes. Are they actual nodes? Still not able to completely comprehend. Celer network. I'm not sure if you guys heard about that or remember that. That was huge. Celer. CELER. They don't even have nodes. Secret network. Oh my God. They were shitty on Ghost. My goodness, they were shitty on us when we started because they were like the next big thing. But they have 70 nodes. And they had insane amount of investment. Insane. Telos right there, right, with the zero pre-mine, as they say. Some people mention Injective. No comment here. So now we get a Hedera. That's my personal favorite. I mean, how much I hate Hedera is I don't hate. Like, I mean, that's like, I mean, if all my hate could be assembled into one locus point, that would be this. I finally found how many nodes they have, 31. They written those nodes not on the Explorer. They wrote these nodes in their documentation. It's like fixed. And they claim to be super fucking fast with like 31 nodes. Okay, congratulations. Now we are somewhere here. We are somewhere right there, right? So we so far significantly we close to Ronin, which was hacked, if you guys remember that bridge. IoTeX. I have some inside information about IoTeX. In particular, we tried to deploy them as well. That's 24 nodes. Neo used to be very good. That's 23. Not anymore. Ethereum killer. I'm happy EVMOS. We live on EVMOS, but there's no development. It's a Cosmos EVM, so the market cap is 16 million. It's like going nowhere right now. The community is really, really dry. Wormhole. Again, who knew 19 nodes? 19 freaking nodes, right? Steem was a great project. It was a really good project, 16 nodes. Ontology, whatever, nobody knows. Arbitrum. So Arbitrum is an interesting one. So this, I found 13. Is it really true? I'm not sure. It's an L2. L2s typically don't have validators. Then how the fuck are you decentralized if you don't have validators, right? But of course they have. Question is they don't list them. So it would be nice to get them because they work as a multisig. So who is part of that multisig? Can I see? It seems like it's 13 nodes on the multisig wallet, which is whatever. Well, Bitcoin SV, that's the Craig Wright. Love him or hate him, but 12 nodes. BitTorrent, huge project. BitTorrent, absolutely huge. Was acquired by Tron, if you guys remember back in the day. Chiliz 11, right? So Chiliz is backed by a couple of football clubs in Europe and some big time investors. So that's the situation. So Anubhav, sir, how are we going to compete with such big chains because the market cap of all those chains is very high? Well, that's exactly the point. The market caps of these chains mean nothing. That's what I'm trying to say. Because when you try to dive into who is actually validating Chiliz, you will see it's 11 nodes. And with all this massive funding, with all this awareness, with, blah, 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 there's no product adoption. Like, what you have to understand, just because there's a blockchain and just because there's this market cap doesn't mean anything. Because chances are this market cap at this point of time is fully owned by these 11 nodes. Because when they started, the allocation was probably 90% goes to the investors and the team and treasury and whatever else they can create, and then 10% goes to the actual community. So to be like, the tokenomics was messed up to begin with. Like, it was screwed. There was no chance to ever. right? So those 10% of retailers, right, either holding the bags in the red, like they're down, or alternative scenario, they sold out. And now the only reason this freaking things is not selling out, is not selling off, is not dropping. The only reason is because those 90% of investors just holding it. What else can they do? There's no fucking liquidity. Nobody cares. There's no adoption. Now, you need to look at the number of daily transactions, number of wallets, like how many people interact with it, how many dApps exist on Chiliz, for example, because that was, or how many NFT collections exist on it, because that was the whole point for Chiliz. So this market cap, as kind of, we like to call this, these are, in the real world, they're zombie companies that exist only because they have some cash on the books from before. So these are zombie projects. They have some market cap from before, but these market caps mean nothing. Yet, they do create a comparable analysis for what we should be worth as a project. But here's the thing. If that's the whole, like, kind of irony of the situation. If all of us together, 27 people at this moment, can beat Chiliz, can be twice more decentralized, almost 3 times more decentralized than Chiliz, and we're just starting out. And that's a testnet. And we're running this with no incentives, except for governance, except for, being part of the core, right? And therefore, kind of like knowing everything. Like, we don't get like actual money for running it, right? These guys do. These guys all make money from it. So imagine the level of nodes we could have. And the network will have a network effect. That's why we call it network. So I suspect that every single network have a network effect of the number of nodes when it comes down to something that is not backed by VCs. Like, say, Bitcoin, right? I'm pretty sure if we take this and square that, what's going to be? I don't know. Let's see. So this to the second power, 20,000 was, right? So now we're looking at 400 million, whatever that is, like that figure. But here's the thing. So when discussing the network effect, there are separate models. First of all, they say, well, if we have n nodes, then the valuation should be, or the value should be n, right? Somebody says, well, if we have n nodes, then the valuation should be n squared, which is what I just did. But somebody says, right? I forgot the is it Moore's law? He says it's not n squared. It's actually 2 to the power of n. 2 to the power of n. Now, if you do Bitcoin, 2 to the power of 20,000. That's it. That's it. Excel cannot calculate that. It's too high. We should do this in Python. It's fucking insane. But contingent upon these nodes are actually independent. Contingent upon these nodes are actually self-sustainable, right? If you just bring some rent, like if you just go ahead and just run 50 nodes, like each one of us right now, you know what? Let's just run 50 more boxes. Okay, that's definitely helpful. That definitely creates an optics. But we need users. Like, there's no, like, we won't be able to cheat ourselves out of it, right? Like, it's not going to happen. Like, we need users. But once we do have users, like Dogecoin, what is the value of Dogecoin? Like, what is the use case? $62 billion. I'll tell you for sure, most companies that don't have this market capitalization. Most companies, the products of which you use every day, oil and gas, the car, the food, the grocery store, the fast food place, whatever, like they will not have such high market cap. And the reason why that exists is because of the community of 16,000 crazy motherfuckers. Crazy motherfuckers. Doge is like perhaps the most crazy community we have. Tron, I would say, is another one. It's also absolutely crazy, insane people. Surprisingly, Ethereum Classic, I vouch for these guys. Like, these guys, true to themselves, like, yeah, losing to Ethereum, sure. But as far as decentralization right there, and we're looking at 4 billion. 4 billion. That's how we should be thinking about this. So our goal is quality over quantity, but also quantity. Right? So both. With preference to quality, but also quantity. And that's a really interesting balance that we all need to get. Now the question is, so we are right there, right? And I think we all need to be aware of what exactly we're trying to achieve, like whom exactly we're trying to beat. Because here's the situation. Once you get 200 nodes right there, the market cap, roughly, like let's assume plus 10 nodes, minus 10 nodes, right? The average market cap is $10 billion. What would you say? Okay, fine. Let's erase the BNB because that's an outlier. Without the BNB, it's going to be much less. $2 billion. 2 billion with a B. Now divide that by supply of 15 million coins. You get what? $100 per coin? Boom. Right there. Easy. So we build our future together. That's what we need to realize. That's what, like, the team, sure, like, we're going to, subsidize the tech. But what Sargir is doing, like, let's write the scripts. What Boris is doing, let's bring more people. What you guys doing, right? Like, I think you guys, some Europeans, some out of India, some out of Latin America, some out of US. Like, what we all trying to do right now, bring in more people. That's exactly what we should be doing. We need to bring more people. Because once we have the score of validators, users will be extremely comfortable using the bridge. And then the competition is not this wormhole. Where's this wormhole? Where's it? This freaking guy. It's not that. Layer 0, by the way, not on this. Is it on? I think not there. Axelar. My personal vendetta would be this. Axelar. Personal vendetta. Fuck these guys. They claim they're decentralized. They're not. Also 75 nodes. Again, this is super optimistic. Like, when you start diving into like 75 nodes, you will see 5 of them are not for Axelar in particular, but like for, since I've been collecting the statistic, like 5 of these nodes will be like A16Z. Another 5 will be like this B2B corporation, whatever, some enterprise. Like, you will see that, like, how many retailers actually participate? Like, probably nobody. Probably not a single one. Because the minimum requirements are insane. So you have to trust to some God knows what, enterprise for what? Like, if you want to trust them, just go to the bank. Why don't you do that? Mr. IDK, curious, is anyone outside of our taking notice of Ghost given our momentum? And if so, what does that mean for the project? And is it even important? By mean outside, you mean so outside of Wales? If you could clarify, outside of Wales, outside of the general community, like in the crypto space or just in the general Web2 space, that's a good question. That's a good question, Mr. IDK. Okay, so our group. Well, we are following the tribe, right? We're following the tribe scenario, and as we discussed about three months ago, maybe you guys should rewatch it. Those of you who are new to Ghost, I think the recordings on YouTube. So we have a general community, and we have a Wales community, and then the whole point is: should we focus on the outreach, or should we focus on nurturing the community? And the logic is we should do the outreach, right? Like, essentially, like the team and you guys, the council and the Wales, we should all do outreach. That's one. But what Seth Godin is arguing in the tribes, he's arguing, no. We should not be focusing on the outreach. We should be focusing on communication within the community. Communication. So we should be communicating within the community. And once we do that, once we establish those really nice bonding, like we actually know who we are. Yes, it's a privacy anonymous project. We're not going to know the names and the last names, but we just know who we are. We spoke to each other. We trust each other. We develop stuff together. That will naturally make it so much easier for us as individual members to bring our network to Ghost, because there's trust, because there's specific use case, because there's specific benefit, right? That every single person sees, and that every single member, every single whale will know exactly whom to bring. And that's exactly what's happening. Sargir is bringing his crew. Somebody's bringing their crew. I'm not going to mention. The other person is bringing, Boris, I think, I'm personally working on bringing 2 more crews. One out of Balkans, another one out of Latin America. Another person, one of the council members, trying to bring more Americans. Like, it's really in the works. It's heavily in the works. We also have access to the Chinese market, and that access is fucking huge. We have access to the Chinese CoinGecko, to the founders of Chinese CoinGecko. That's a huge community, and if we can tackle that community, oh my god, we can unlock the entire Asia. Because if you're going to unlock China, we may unlock South Korea, and then maybe Southeast Asia, comprised of Malaysia, Indonesia, which is fucking huge. We also have a Nigerian market. I cannot wait for the Nigerian market to start spiking, like Prime and Federal and Emmanuel. Once those guys start, start running the nodes, like, because Nigeria is such a huge market for us. So it's like various super specific loci points that we all need to attack individually. And as a community, we cannot rely that somebody else will do it. We have to do it. Like every single person has to do it. That's how it works. Mr. ADK, in your particular group, your particular situation, you have access to a massive group. Like you brought it like so many times. I'm not gonna share with people, but that group is insane. If you can get that group, because that's like world-class influencers, literally, like objectively world-class influencers. So that'll be interesting as well. So they find out about us because we tell them. Conversely, there are many projects in the crypto space that including all of these, like everybody that, all of them that I'm like. Let me ask you this question: like, why do you think Axelar doesn't have anybody? Why it's only 75 nodes? It's only 75 nodes because they raised the money, and they thought they can solve the problem by doing marketing. They will do the airdrop. They'll promote. They'll appear in every single newspaper, in every single outlet, like on whatever. Yeah, I'm forgetting now. Cointelegraph and CoinDesk and all the others, right? They buy ad on CoinMarketCap. They participate in the distribution list of Binance because they're listed there, and they will reach the point of happiness. But that's not happening. It's not going to happen. The reason why they have 75 is not because their network sucks necessarily, although it does. Because their strategy sucks. They think they just raise the money and the money will speak. It doesn't work like this. VCs got out. They got out. They got what they wanted. They bought cheap, dropped the bags on the retailers. That's it. They're happy. But we're talking about the project. We're talking about a use case. The reason why Stellar, right, is only 83 freaking nodes. Come on. Stellar was founded by XRP guys, by Ripple people. It's very similar technology. They had enormous pockets, enormously deep pockets. How come you only have 83? Well, we'll argue. Well, these 83 are different. We have, Anubhav. He's a node operator. And Mr. ADK, you an operator, and I'm an operator of a node. But for Stellar, it's different. It's JP Morgan Chase. It's Goldman Sachs. It's like this investment bank, that investment. Who fucking cares? It's 83 nodes. Who fucking cares who is a node? That's the irony. It's the irony is, whom do you trust more? Do you trust Stellar or do you trust Bitcoin? That's it. Ask yourself this question. I trust Bitcoin 20,000 times more. Why? Because they're decentralized, right? And I have no idea what type of scenario, what type of cartel is organized behind the doors for Axelar. And I don't want to try, and I don't want to check, and I don't want to find out. You know how, like, if you're in an emerging country, you are super careful with the banking system in that country. Like, you're not really careful. Like, I'm not gonna like pinpoint. Well, I'm gonna pinpoint countries, but like, by no means that's my personal. I'm just like, let's assume a bank in Mexico may not be as legitimate or as secure in the eyes of of a Westerner as a bank in Belgium, or as a bank in Switzerland, or as a bank in France, right? So that might be the case. Or a bank in Indonesia may appear a little bit riskier than a bank in Dubai, right? Or like Singapore. Okay, fine, sure. But when you put money in these banks and people put money in these banks, they have to trust the local government and they have to trust the local financial system. But if I don't trust them, and that's why I want to buy Bitcoin, why would I trust Axelar? Because the people behind Axelar are the same fucking people who are behind my local financial system that I didn't trust in the first place. Like, you see, like the nonsense of all these other blockchain networks out there, of most of them, anyway. Right? Like, the reason why they have no nodes is because they have no community. Mostly that's enterprise nodes. The minimum requirements are insane because architecture sucks, and only with insane requirements you can run such like completely pointless architecture, right? So, many reasons. But most importantly, they thought marketing will solve it. They didn't do shit with the community. And even if they bring community, what can community do? Can you run a Stellar node? No, you can't. How much money will it take you? Insane. You're not going to be able to run it if you're an average person. That's it. I'm out of Stellar. I'm moving to Flare. Can I do some Flare? No, I can't. Next project. what's so different of Flare versus Ori chain if they just forks of each other, for example? I'm not saying those are, but let's assume they are. Right? So that's a conversation for us to be had. That like we need to trust network. We just naturally trust networks. Like I would trust Dogecoin way more than I would trust XRP. That's it. Why? It's some crazy motherfuckers running Dogecoin. Yeah, but it's 16,000 of these crazy motherfuckers with the consensus protocol that is in my, that is on my side. Like the consensus is not going to screw me. But these people, they will. Because, I mean, it's 820 nodes, but I have to select one node that will represent me. That's XRP. Congratulations. That's called FBA, Federated Byzantine Agreement. That's their consensus protocol, right? So that's kind of the situation on above. So what should be the minimum number of nodes for Ghost Chain retargeting for mainnet to be released? So that's another great question. That's another question that we have been considering internally, and there's no right answer. I was personally the guy who was pushing for this question and for the answer, but we don't have an answer, and we shouldn't have an answer. The answer is when we feel like it as a community. That's the answer. Something is telling me personally, I would love to get here. I would love to get here, but that's just my personal opinion. By no means that the opinion of the team. By no team is completely against this. I'm just vocalizing my personal opinion. I think it would be nice to get to 100 nodes. I think, frankly speaking, it would be nice to get to 1,000 nodes. That's where I would personally feel comfortable, for example, right? How far is that out? Well, it depends. But at the same time, if we have 70 nodes, nothing will prevent us from launching it because, again, guys, we're launching the testnet. We're running the testnet right now. And we're already bidding with a testnet with no incentives. We're already beating these guys, thanks to you guys. We're already beating all these blockchains, right? So once the mainnet is live, that's going to be a totally separate situation because now you have monetary incentives to run a node. And the incentive is going to be fucking insane. You will see this with GhostDAO. GhostDAO will be live December/January. So you will see that yourself. And we need to make sure at this point of time, the more validators we have, the better. The more nodes we have, the better. Because we want them all to see the craziness of GhostDAO. It will just fucking blow your minds. Like it will be crazy. It will, like you guys will be. When we demoed that back in February and March of 2022, 2 years ago, we demoed the GhostDAO. People got like it was insane. It was like people just couldn't believe it. It was so freaking cool, and that is directly integrated with the Ghost Chain. So that combination shall, incentivize even more interest. Last quick point that I didn't have much time to go over. So I want to make sure kind of that we have this gamification to beat these networks. That's my impression. I want to beat these networks as far as decentralization. So really somewhere here we can beat Ronin. But maybe it's interesting, would be more interesting to gamify it to some extent. So I'm not sure if you guys saw the video that I posted. Somebody posted actually. I'm not sure if it was me. Somebody posted in the Whales group. And 1 second. Yeah. So something like that, right? So something like Mortal Kombat. And essentially maybe we should do something like this, right? Like to make some type of content that will gamify the interest, right? And this is Ghost, for example, and then Ghost fights with all the other blockchains once we get there. Like we will fight them as we get to the node. So you guys will know exactly who is the next target. And I'm just like trying to understand what will be a nice visualization for that. Because if it's just statistics, the statistics may be a little bit too boring. So maybe we have something like this, right? Like for you guys, like maybe like some type of mountain where, the top guy is the BlackRock that we need to beat. And then the Andreessen Horowitz and JP Morgan right there. And then we have like, whatever, the Coinbase, then we just beat these networks, right? So we're just like trying to figure out what's a nice way to gamify it. So would love to hear your thoughts in the group. Also on individual calls that we'll hopefully have some of you guys this week/next week. So we'd love to hear your thoughts. How would you like to gamify it if you want to gamify or not? Maybe you say, no, it's fine. Like, let's just do the tech. Let's not do this whole like meme stuff. But I think like it's gonna be super fun if you do it. So would love to hear your thoughts. On this positive note, thank you so much. How many people watching us? Let me see. We'll pause right there, and we'll reconvene next week. Thank you so much, guys and girls. Have a good one. Bye. Bye.